one of the young players that got traded to the Utah Jazz in this deal was Talen Horton-Tucker. He's still young, 21 years old. He's under contract for this year at $10 million, but next year he has a player option. So depending on how he does in Utah, he could get a big-time contract from a team if he plays well in Utah. Now, we know it's tough to play with LeBron if you're a young player and you're trying to find your footing in the league. So do you think this change of scenery is going to ultimately reveal the true Talen Horton-Tucker, and he's going to excel in Utah and be a pretty good player for them?
Riv, I'll go first. If you could just do me a favor and plug in my laptop, I'd really appreciate that. Now to talk about Talen Horton-Tucker. No, I don't believe so. And ultimately, I feel this way because, one, you're going to the Jazz where, yes, they're definitely a free-flowing type offense, but the reason why is there's just guys ahead of him right now. Donovan Mitchell, Jordan Clarkson, Bojan Bogdanovic, Mike Conley. There's not going to be a situation where Talen Horton-Tucker is going to be told, here, THT, take the ball, go get a bucket. There's too many guys in front of him with similar roles on the squad right now. Now that he's going to be with the Jazz, I don't see a world where he gets better. He got more minutes with us. He had more opportunity with us, and he's not a great shooter by any means. He's not a great playmaker by any means. Cannot go left. Poor dribbler. What can he really do? Nothing much that is going to impact the team, and I just don't see a world where THT gets better with the Jazz.
I'm not going to buy stock. I think Utah is probably going to be looked at as an opportunity for young guys probably the young guys who didn't get a chance to shine definitely get their opportunity. But I think Donovan will be moved, so I think THT will have it. It's just, for me, it depends on how many young guys come from New York. Because, like we said, Grimes is a guard. Cam Reddish is a guard/forward. Maybe it quickly gets thrown in the deal. That's another guard. Obi, well, he's a forward, so I'm not really. But
Fournier.
Yeah, that's another guy. I really hope they don't play him, though, if they want the young guys to play. But, these are young players that could obviously be better than THT. THT, it sucks that he got drafted to the Lakers. It sucks that LeBron put that type of expectation on him. It really does suck because he didn't live up.
LeBron or Lakers fans?
Both. LeBron did gas him.
And media.
Media, too.
All LeBron
he
said
was really
he
young.
thought he was going to be good.
I think he said more than good.
No, he said he was going to be.
You know what?
Next.
I
That's
saw-
what he said. He
I
said
saw a
he's
clip.
next.
Yeah,
He lied.
I saw a clip
chill.
on Twitter about it was when Giannis first signed his deal with the Bucks. He signed his extension, and it was Jay Williams giving his thoughts on what happened. And the question was, now, Jay Will, do you think that Giannis can win a championship in the 10-year of his contract? And Jay Will was like, I don't know. It's going to be very tough because I look at the Lakers and I look at guys like, Talen Horton-Tucker and how he's playing in the depth they have. It's going to be very hard for the Bucks to win.
That's so tough, man.
That's the first dude he said.
That's insane.
Wow. Yeah, I don't have stock in THT. He has a lot of weaknesses in his hole, but I think he'll have the opportunity. Oh, yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, weaknesses in his game. I'm smacked, y'all. Chill. Yeah, weaknesses in his hole. That was nuts. Yeah, he has a lot of weaknesses in his game, so it's really.
Third time's the charm. It's all right. Go ahead. Keep going. You're
wait,
good. No, you're good.
I
You're
said
good.
it right.
Yeah,
Oh
you
yeah,
did.
he laughing at me and shit. Yeah, I'm not buying stock. His raps. He has no left hand. He can't dribble. I watched the clip of THT's worst moments on Twitter. The Mark Jackson burn.
I was mad.
I was screaming
so
because it's a
mad.
bunch of bad shots. Like just
I was watching that
he's
shit with
losing
a
his
tear
mind.
falling down
Yeah.
my face. I was
feel
so
bad.
sad.
There's a lot of expectations on him.
I'm cautiously optimistic about this move. I
I'm
think
sure
that
you are.
There's so much. I'm interested.
I think
Sorry.
Talen Horton-Tucker, you look at the stats, they don't look good. Terrible splits.
There we go.
He is just 21 years old. That's very young. And a team like Utah, I do think Donovan Mitchell gets traded fairly soon to the Knicks. I think Bojan is probably gone too. I think Conley, maybe they trade him, maybe they buy him out. It really depends on what happens. But, Talen Horton-Tucker, it's not really about him getting to his spots. He gets to his spots. He just doesn't capitalize on them. Like THT, he averaged 10 drives per game last year, which was 78th in the league out of 355 players. And mind you, this is limited opportunity, but he finished below average in terms of field goal percentage at the basket, below average spot-up shooter. So his problem is not getting to his spots. His problem is being efficient and capitalizing on them. I think with a team like Utah, those drives per games go up. I think he does capitalize on a bit more. I do think that him playing with the Lakers next to a guy like LeBron, where Talen Horton-Tucker is now a spot-up shooter, that doesn't fit him because he's not a good shooter. But now in Utah, when you have the ball in your hands a little bit more, you're able to initiate. I think that he'll be better. And will he, I think the real question is, what's Talen Horton-Tucker's ceiling? I view him that I think he can be a starter. I think he has a ceiling of a starter, or maybe maybe a better role player off the bench, like a Shannon Brown or something like that.
Not a
That's
starting
not a good
championship team. Yeah.
Shannon Brown was good for a
Who has
point
a higher
guard.
ceiling, Austin Reeves or THT?
Austin
THT.
Reeves.
Austin Reeves.
I think Austin Reeves has the ability to fit around stars better, but I think Talen Horton-Tucker
which is why
can
I
be a
say
better
his-
player.
Man,
And THC also struggles with defense, which is huge, but I do think,
he has the wingspan for it.
I do think, for one, Talen Horton-Tucker finally got traded for something that is worth around his value. For the past couple of years, he's been one of the guys that a lot of fans have laughed at because he's involved in these lucrative packages, these packages for established stars. Oh, yeah, the trade piece the Lakers put in there is THT. And that's why he's gotten a bad rap. But trading him for a quality starting point guard, I think with the upside he has as a young player, and especially since Pat Bev's on an expiring deal, he got traded for what his value is around.
I'm gonna be honest. As of today, that's his value is way below what Pat Bev.
On an expiring deal, I think it's pretty similar.
You don't think the deal makes sense for both sides?
It makes sense for Utah completely.
Utah wants to get
completely.
younger,
I'm gonna miss.
and
I'm
the
gonna,
Lakers want to get better now.
The Lakers.
I'm gonna miss Stanley. If
Does
I'm
this
gonna
not
keep it a
this
stack
makes
with
the
you.
deal them better for the Lakers
Losing
now?
Stanley hurts.
I mean,
He was okay.
This
Nah, but
guy's
he's a
talking
good
about
defender,
losing
one of our better
Stanley
defenders.
Hurts.
Can't
This
shoot.
guy's
we
in
need
shambles.
You're talking about interior
That's like
defense.
that's like
Interior
their fifth
defending.
player.
He was
bad.
solid.
You just talk about Stanley Johnson
Bro,
losing him
interior
hurts.
defense,
It's a
he's
Laker fan.
solid. That's it. That's all I'm saying. He did more for us last season than THT.
Well, I mean,
That's facts.
That's not saying.
Well,
much.
that's why
I
they're not a
agree.
championship team.
Is Stanley going to play in Utah? I highly doubt it.
I mean, now that Rudy Gobert's gone, they probably need someone
He's a
down.
small forward.
Nah, but
He's
he
not a
plays,
center.
He plays a small ball big.
he plays the 4. He's fucking
tall is
shit.
he?
He's 6'7".
Yeah,
The
that's
Stanley
what I was gonna
Johnson
say.
hype is
No, but
over.
you just heard what Drew said, though.
I didn't.
He's a small ball
I,
big.
I tuned out.
He was like, now that Gobert's out,
They need someone
Stanley.
to play in interior defense. That's
He's
what
not
he did
playing,
for
bro.
us.
I mean, if he played,
I mean, this
he only
roster's
played for y'all
bad.
because you had to.
240.
You had nobody
You're
out
right.
there.
Didn't have a
So
choice.
you had to
You're
play.
they had a wing in
Realistically,
Gabriel.
yeah. Come on, he was playing. He's horrible.
Listen, our team was not good.
You just had to run guys out there at that point. Just
We're praying.
go in there and just
Prayers were going unanswered.
do something.
unfortunately.
Get a hustle play.
That's all they were looking for.
Yeah, like, just
Guys
get
that can hustle.
Yeah, just get a hustle play.
Don't
Get a
embarrass
dive
us.
on the floor. Show me something
Show some
meaningful.
heart.
Yeah, like
That's what
fight.
you're looking
Like, this shit bad.
The
Just-
Jazz have a lot of players 25 or under. Walker Kessler, Jared Butler, Talen Horton-Tucker,
they just drafted Walker, right?
yeah, Azubuike, Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Walker Kessler's from the Minnesota trade.
Oh, okay.
Leandro Bolmero, Malik Beasley, and Donovan Mitchell. Those are the players 25
Easy
or
gonna
under.
take up some minutes.
For
30.
sure.
Yeah, definitely.
He can average 20 legitimately. in
THG has a
Utah.
chance to increase his value though.
Who, Malik?
Being on a young team, they trade.
I don't
will
think
trade
Mike
Mitchell,
Conley. They're
but
gonna have to buy out. I
Wait,
don't think
if
nobody's
D-Mitch
putting out
is
the trade
traded.
for. I don't think
Yeah.
nobody's putting out the trade for Mike Conley.
even by the trade deadline, most of these vets are probably gonna be
Buy
off the team if
Bring
they're not
me-
off the team
bring me
by
Mike
the season
Conley.
starts. So THG will have a chance to prove something, being a role player on a bad team.
Yeah.
Mike Conley is cooked, bro.
I would take him in a heartbeat.
I don't know.
As you should.
I don't know.
Who's
Him and
more
Westbrook. Hey, he ain't saying shit.
True,
Yeah.
true.
I mean, Mike Conley's smarter.
I would take Conley over Westbrook.
I watched him travel
And
in
he
the
can hit.
closeout
He
game.
can hit
Fucking
shots.
travel. Like, how do you travel as a grown ass man in the NBA game for
It
the win?
happens.
This is for the win,
Oh, yeah,
though.
no, you joked.
Like,
You're right.
come on. In
100%.
Utah, he's traveling and shit. Embarrassing. But yeah, he's smarter than Westbrook, so I give him that.
Who would you rather take right now, Mike Conley or Kyle Lowry?
Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry, but it's not saying much.
Well, Kyle Lowry,
He's cooked too.
he is
Yeah, he
cooked.
is
Hey,
cooked.
he's a hamstring. You know,
You're right.
Thick guys.
You're right.
The
He is
hamstring
thick.
really. You know.
Conley, we know it is. Lowry just chalking up to
I would
injury.
take Lowry, but
Oh,
again, like I
I
said,
like Lowry's leadership. I like
Okay,
the way he
that's
comes
fair.
into the locker
You
room.
like the way
takes
he's built.
charge. I do. I love the way he's built. In fact,
You're
but
nuts.
I really
Crazy.
like the way he portrays himself in the locker room. The way he
Oh, that's it.
vocal.
That's all you have
his
to say.
mannerism,
Yeah, absolutely.
his leadership qualities.